it up, Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Welcome to Benson Honey Farms, where every jar is pure gold. Benson's Honey is excited to be back on Badlands Media with their latest 2025 honey harvest, straight from their farm in Nebraska. While they've been busy working to improve our state politics from the ground up, they never forgot the importance of sharing the best honey around. Did you know that honey isn't just a sweet treat? It's nature's medicine, perfect for alleviating allergies, soothing upset stomachs, or as delicious natural sweetener for baking. Benson honey is never heated, ensuring you receive it in its purest and most raw form for all natural goodiness. At Benson Honey Farms, quality and purity is top priority, and they're committed to providing the finest honey from hive to home. Join the supportive community and enjoy a special offer. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/honey and use promo code BADLAND for 15% off your purchase.
Soft disclosure, just dropped new favorites for the season. The lotion, your 5-ounce favorite, is still here. And now we've added full 11-ounce bottles. New lavender tea tree deodorant, clean, calm, and effective. New tallow bars, chamomile lemon rose, and naked. Rich moisture that actually works. And on Black Friday, the new arrivals land. Introducing our first men's only formula, beard oil, in unscented and spiced vanilla. Truth. Tamed, and finally your beard is too. Tallow lip balms, made with beef tallow and lanolin for serious moisture. Available in chamomile mint, vanilla, naked, and vanilla tangerine. Plus, mini tallow bars, same deep moisture as the full size. Available in vanilla coffee and naked. And finally, lavender vanilla lotion, smooth, soothing, and worth the wait. On Black Friday, the new products arrive, and so do the Black Friday bundles. Visit softdisclosure.com for truth you can gift.
Stack Stats with River, the Bitcoin-only platform built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. Why River? Well, zero-fee reoccurring buys, a Zach Bitcoin, effortlessly, hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly, 3.5% Bitcoin interest rates on cash, FDIC insured, no minimums, withdraw anytime. Experts, US-based support, human help plus private chat services for big buys 100K plus, business accounts, and boost your balance sheet with Bitcoin to earn 3.5% paid in Bitcoin. Top tier wallet, send, receive, and manage Bitcoin securely, unmatched security, full reserve custody, multi cold storage, and proof of reserves. Join Bitcoin Revolution at badlandsmedia.tv/river and earn real returns. That's badlandsmedia.tv/river.
All American first.
He said, I call it the woke Reich.
Jews are out here stacking up businesses.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
If I would never take my own life. Okay? You hear that, Israel?
I refuse to play the Democrats, Republicans game anymore. I stopped that a long fucking time ago. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shipwreck Show. My name is Shipwreck, and I will be your hostess with the mostest. And how are we all doing tonight? Are we doing good? Are we hanging in there? Every time I open that godforsaken app, shit's on fire. Every single time. Con Inc. is imploding. I guess they're imploding because they brought on themselves. They've had a rough week. Conservative Incorporated has had a rough week. I just finished watching Tim Pool's rant about security and how they don't have enough money. And apparently the show that he's going to do on the 19th might be their last show. Last week, I saw Ben Shapiro offering people 50% off of their subscription price for the holidays, trying to get more people to sign up and pay that monthly subscription price. And then we have the Benny Johnson, who, if you think about Con Inc., I mean, Benny Johnson's probably one of my favorites in Con Inc. in like the Matrix space. It'd probably be Benny Johnson. He's who I've followed the longest. And he's from Iowa. And so I'm a fan. Even if I know what he is, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still kind of a fan because like, if I need something that's at that face value, if I need a good clip, if I don't really follow him for his opinion, I don't, but I'm a fan, but it's that came out this week, and apparently that was a well-known secret. I didn't know this. And I didn't know this, but it came out with Milo. And so here you go.
One of the most distinctive things about the right wing in this country is its homosexual overtones. Benny Johnson posts pictures of his children every 2 days. It's weird. And everybody knows what went on with Benny Johnson in those lobbies and in those hotel rooms at SAS. Everybody knows.
I don't. No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Men, younger men, not underage. At least I don't know that. His wife was crying drunk in the lobby 3 SASs in a row about how her husband was upstairs with boys.
Come on.
Like, go ask her.
Come on.
Go ask her.
Come on, Milo.
Go ask her.
Milo, aren't you ever scared of getting sued? You say I'm sitting here like I am humbled by the lore and your ability.
The audacity.
There's no teapots in this room right now to express how I feel.
George, I have said these things about people for 20 years and never once in my career been sued. I've issued 3 corrections in my entire journalistic career because I get my facts right. And people know that they do not want to go through discovery.
Actually, I want to say this.
I've never been sued for anything I've ever said about anyone.
The one thing I need to say this.
Because I'm right.
The most terrifying thing about Milo.
Okay. So that kind of caught me off guard this week. I never. Apparently, this was somewhat common knowledge. This was news to me. Benny Johnson used to. That's what somebody else told me. Hell, that might have been John that told me that. I can't remember when I had him on. It's possible. And then some really old articles that he wrote from back in like 2011 started popping up. He was good on Tucker. Milo follows me on X now, so that makes me, actually, I don't even know that matters anymore, but I was kind of surprised as that. That's Milo. Went on a hiatus after he'd made some comments on a podcast, and then they were taken out of context, and it made to look like he was supporting pedophiles, but it was part of a more broader but unfortunately, the clips took off, and so he took a hiatus, and I don't know. You'll have to go look him up. It's Milo on X. So that was something. I don't watch Tim Pool. And then a couple days later, Tim Pool came out, and I don't have the clip, but this was after the Candace Owens thing. Super fired up because they're losing money. And somebody supposedly, and Milo is funny, like just off the charts, supposedly shot up his house a couple years back or something. So he has to have all the security, and he's like, we can't afford the security. We're not making any money doing the shows. He basically he invested a whole lot into his show and is not getting the return back that I think he thought he would get, which is par for the course for a lot of them. I feel like when you start building that overhead, social media is, if it's anything, it's driven by the people. Bots don't historically, now with the new algorithms, bots won't pay you money. With the way that like X's algorithm goes, I think YouTube's algorithm is very much the same. TikTok just whatever on TikTok, but and Rumble, I guess I don't know how Rumble necessarily works, but the algorithm has involved in a cat videos. The algorithm doesn't reward you for views that are not like substantial, and X algorithm specifically does not reward you for views that are not from blue checkmark creators, which is it. And I suppose it could be a double-edged sword. If you're a smaller creator and you don't have, it can be a double-edged sword. I like it this way. I don't make a lot of money either way. Really. I'll make good money one month, and then the next month I'll make no money. So on a consistent basis, I don't make a ton of money if you look at the overall year. But the fact that it comes from legit viewers and not bot farms or manipulation, I like that a lot better. And I feel like in the early days of social media, a lot of these content creators from Con Inc. banked on a lot of that, paid for. And I'm not saying that Benny or any of them did this. I'm not saying them particularly. I'm saying they could have easily, or the organization that brought them on paid for followers paid for bots. We know that Israel, they did it with the influencers when they had that meeting. I know that Influenceable does. So they will buy followers, and they're not real followers. So you're not getting real engagement. It's inflated engagement. We saw it through the Kamala Harris campaign, right? I believe strongly we saw it through the Joe Biden campaign, but it really became dominant in the Kamala Harris campaign. And you'll notice it a lot on TikTok. Some of these big TikTokers who were making millions of dollars, billions of dollars not billions, but hundreds of thousands of dollars in the creator rewards program are now not, because that algorithm changed. So if you ever think about doing this, okay, just find a corner in your house, learn to do it all, as much of it as you can on your own. Keep your overhead really low. Don't go renting spaces or studios. Just do it from your house. Okay? Don't hire anybody. I saw that. Because it will crash. It always does. Social media comes and goes, and social media is relatable to the people. Like, people, they want to watch what they want to watch. I got something in my eye. And if the people leave because your narrative isn't what the people want to listen to anymore, Ben Shapiro, then they're going to leave and you're going to be out on your ass. There's no amount of bots that can save you. So Con Inc. is kind of crashing. And I don't know what comes from that. I could have told you easily when mainstream media was the target of all of this initially, when we were going after like CNN and we were going after, we'd said the next thing it's going to be podcasters. It's going to be, your Joe Rogans, your whatever, and like your Badlands media. But I don't know what comes after Con Inc. I don't know what comes after defunct podcasters. Different podcasters. I know that like Badlands had a meeting where we talked about like the social media what Badlands media wants to do in 2026 in terms of their social media, and what their core values. They really want to highlight what the core value was, and one of the ones was authenticity. And I think that if you're going to highlight a core value, if you believe in it, okay, I would highlight the authenticity part, because authenticity is going to be currency going forward in the media space. Do you remember how excited we all were when the White House announced that they were going to allow podcasters to come in and ask questions? Remember how cool that was? I didn't see anybody I knew. I applied, but I didn't think I'd get in. But I didn't see anybody that I recognized. I saw a bunch of people from Con Inc. I was like, oh, bruh. Well, so much for that. So much for that. Con Inc. bent the knee to the scandemic and election fraud narratives to keep making, and they did. But that's the thing too, is I feel like it's going to. I think 2025 is going to tank a lot of them, but I feel like it's slowly going to die out. And as Trump's president comes to the end, especially, you know what? Even if the Republicans lose midterms on a grand scale, you're going to see conservative ink go with it, because you're going to know that it's all, I know she does that. What the fuck that was all about? I have no idea. I don't know how Laura Loomer got a press pass to the Pentagon. Fucking whatever. I try not to think about that. But I think you're going to see conservative ink go with it, because they're not going to have anything to talk about. Because what are you going to do from this? What are you going to do? You spent the entirety of the campaign season building up Trump and building up the GOP and saying all we need to do is get out and vote and do it in droves and we'll win. And we did that, and we won, and we listened. Now what? Nothing's happening. Okay? Nothing major anyway. There was some talk of $2,000 tariff checks. You could just keep that. Just keep that. There's a lot of talk about getting rid of the income tax, but it hasn't happened yet. I feel like if that's going to happen, it's going to happen right before midterms so that people show up and vote. But yours truly will probably not. Unless there's a candidate that I am just fucking all about, I probably will not. And I think you're going to see it. And it's going to fall apart. Your cat turds, your Loomer already is. I'm hard pressed to believe that the majority of Laura Loomer's followers are real. I could be wrong. I haven't really looked into it. But like the Daily Wire, I know none of that is real. Because how do you have that many followers, but you're getting 20,000 views, if that, on a podcast? You got 500 live. Hell, we do better than that. And we're not a multi-million-dollar organization. Devolution gets massive viewers every night or every time they go on, which is usually right after. It's like Wednesday nights, isn't it? Massive viewerships. I don't know how much. I think the majority of it's real. Authenticity. It's authenticity is going to be the new currency in the media space. It's going to be who is authentic and like truly authentic. I think the Iowa governor will also be a Democrat, and I think there's a lot of talk about Feenstra, but I don't think so. I don't think you pull it off. Iowa, they lost a House district. I'd have to look that back up. Like something 7. I don't remember. You're going to see a mad sweep of Democrat in 2026. But not that matters. I don't. Yes, Ghost. Yes. Him too. He does really well too. You're going to see a mad sweep of Democrat. And then everybody's going to go back to, and they're going to, what Connick is going to try to do? Connick is going to try to pin it on Candace Owens. And I'm so fucking sorry, but nobody's not going to vote down their party line because of Candace Owens questioning Erica Kirk. That whole thing is like a Days of Our Lives type of situation. I don't think Charlie Kirk is dead. The whole, like, we'll see you in Valhalla comment, just the fit about it. Like, done. I was like, okay. I think that is just so. I don't. Because how all of a sudden, we're not allowed to, like, say certain things on the internet. We're not allowed to show certain images without getting taken down for all kinds of different reasons. But all of a sudden, that video can just be put everywhere. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X. We can show that video of a man getting murdered. Why? I thought about this during when Gaza invaded Israel or whatever, and all of a sudden they were talking about dead babies, right? And they were showing pictures of dead Jewish babies. And I was like, now how the fuck are you allowed to show that? But if I'm even showing somewhat of a bra line in my video, it gets taken down. It gets one of those community notes. And I knew right then and there. I was like, that's because this is orchestrated. It is orchestrated propaganda. And then I went back and I researched like emotional propaganda. And that was the thing during like World War II. And it goes all the way back. Dead babies, pregnant women. Okay. It's all the same. And Cash is in Qatar today. I know. But you know what? Here's the thing. Laura Loomer's losing her mind in such a massively horrific way over this that whatever. Just whatever. I'm here for it. Give me all the bread and circuses. So, okay. Yeah. Erica Kirk came out and she said that he is buried. She's just not telling anybody where, which would be the first somewhat normal thing she's done since this whole thing started. She's not telling anybody where he's buried. I wouldn't either. Neither would any normal person right now. We might find out later after the sting wears off, but not now. No, because you don't want his gravesite. If that's the case, you don't want his gravesite disturbed or whatever. But everything else that has come from her has been strange. The pictures of him in the casket, JD Vance, him getting to fly in Air Force 2. Wasn't he like the first civilian? I mean, and all of it happening within like 48 hours. What about, there's there an autopsy? Why wasn't any of this stuff cordoned off? Why wasn't this a crime scene? Why was the school allowed to tear all this down? And this is just the things that I've seen. I'm not going to get into the Candace stuff, frankly, because I don't watch it. I don't need Candace Owens to tell me that something's hunky in Hinky Town. The whole thing was fucking weird. and it's either an entire operation and they're trying to cover up, like the whole thing was orchestrated and they're trying to cover up, or he's in Valhalla, which, according to a lot of conspiracy theorist forums, is a code word for witness protection or for protection. And then he'll go on to the next thing. In 5 years, we may just catch him out randomly walking around in like Mexico. Maybe. And don't even like get all hoity with me either, because Michael Jackson, like we've talked a lot about that. There's a lot of them. Marilyn Monroe, there's a story about her. She didn't really die. She was just plucked out, put off somewhere else, given a new name, and allowed to live a normal life. Maybe. Maybe she's grieving. Then maybe she should have taken some time off. I don't see that as a grieving. I see that as marketing. And here's what I want you to do before you get in your emotions about it and start coming at me about what a cold and heartless and mean person I am. I want you to pretend like this was a Democrat situation. Let's say Joe Biden was in power, and let's say it was a lefty commentator of a big network, a big leftist network. Let's say CNN. Okay? Let's say it was a big commentator on CNN, and he was shot in broad daylight at a college doing something, right? By a Trump supporter and then they try to tell you it was a Trump supporter. Okay? And then his wife steps in, takes all kinds of pictures and does her makeup. We've gone after Jill Biden for less. That's what I try to do. When I get in my emotions about something, I take a pause and I'm like, am I being manipulated? And how would I feel if it was with Rachel Maddow? How would I feel if it was Joe Biden was president and this happened to a lefty political commentator? Would I be doing the same thing? Would I be looking? Would I be like, something doesn't look right? Or would I just, probably just a Trump supporter, them crazy Trump supporters? Would I? I probably would not. We didn't get all this way to wake up just to go back to sleep. We just spent the four years of our lives under a fake administration. Okay. It at its highest level, it was an auto pen. Okay. At its deeper level, it was clones or body doubles or holograms or old footage, whatever. Okay. At its deepest level. Okay. So just because our team won doesn't mean that we stop that. We need to keep looking at that. You don't get to go back to sleep. That's not how any of this works. And I'm really sorry. I wish you could, but you can't, because you know that somewhere in the back of your mind, it's still going to gnaw at you. And it sucks. It really does, because you want to get in here and you want to just stop. You know what I'm saying? You want to just stop. And you might be able to pretend for a little while. You might be able to go about your day. You might be able to watch, some movies and be like, oh yeah, that's so good. And not see the force yourself not to see the propaganda, but it's going to come back. Do you need to know what really went on? Not really. I think that's the point. We don't need to know. Because here's what's going to happen. Okay. Whatever happened had to do with Turning Point USA at its core. And Turning Point USA will be decided on by the people. It will either die with Charlie Kirk, okay, like Daily Wire has, okay, like the Tim Pool Show has, Timcast, whatever it's called, okay, or it won't. And I think it will, because it's not doing very well. I think when all this drama dies, when all this drama calms down, and they have to go back to talking about crazy leftists, we don't really believe in a lot of that anymore. I don't. As soon as you start talking to me about it's the crazy leftists and they're going to bring in communism, I tune out, because there are two wings of the same goddamn bird. Two wings. Okay? And if you haven't realized that by now, if you haven't seen the patterns, you will. Especially if we lose midterms. You'll see it. And that'll be it. Which brings me to my second segment of my show. Let me pull this up. I caught some videos on TikTok, nonetheless, of a gentleman named Chase Hughes. And Chase Hughes is an expert on the analysis of human behavioral science. He served 3 terms with the United States military in the Navy. And he served for more than 25 years as a human behavior analyst and interrogator for the military. He developed the Peer Speech Behavior Pilot Program, studied human intelligence. He did all of this stuff. He also wrote a bunch of books. He consults with local law enforcement now, Fortune 500 CEOs. Really well-rounded guy. Kind of a scary guy, if you think about it. Anyway, I had caught some of these clips on TikTok, and I thought they were really interesting. I shared 1 or 2, I think, to X. But I was so intrigued by the whole thing that I actually went and found the podcast to listen to it in its entirety because it was super interesting. And I took some of my more favorite clips and I put them together in a little video. It's about 8 minutes long, but I'd really like to show you guys if you would like to listen. A lot of things that he said are very eye-opening. I'd like you to keep an open mind. Okay? This show's not this show is for everybody but the closed-minded. If you're closed-minded, you're not going to do super well here. Let me just put that caveat out there. Okay? Elon Musk just came out today and said aliens don't exist. So, you got to stay open-minded because you got to go when new information comes available to you. So I'm going to play this video for you now. Like I said, it's about 8 minutes long, so hang in there, and then we'll talk a little bit.
How do you know if you're in the middle of a psychological operation?
I would just assume 24/7 that we are. But let's go into the details. But
what are the signs that something is a psychological operation specifically?
So narrative sticking points. So matching narrative is number 1. A matching narrative means that I'm hearing pretty much the same messaging from media outlets, celebrity influencers, which is number 2, and authority. So people that are in a position of social authority, not like cops and lawyers, and judges, but people in social authority, like pop singers. And I won't say any names. Pop singers, the most popular pop singers, all saying the same shit on social media. That should terrify you to the deepest part of your core, that none of this is real, or none of this is what it seems like. And those are the first 2. Number 3 is if you're seeing people silenced or ostracized for disagreeing with an idea. We saw this during the pandemic, like crazy. There were Harvard-educated medical doctors that were kicked off of social media, which is our greatest fear of human beings, is being ostracized socially. It's greater than death. This is why public speaking is rated higher by almost everybody than death. And it's not public speaking that we're afraid of. It's being out there and having a big idea and then getting rejected by a large crowd. That's what terrifies human beings. And you can leverage the shit out of that, especially when you can manufacture an artificial tribe on social media. So Harvard-educated doctors that disagreed with this mainstream narrative were getting banned. And the dude, I can't remember his name. I wish I could. But the dude who invented mRNA vaccines was on there and went against the narrative and got ostracized. The dude who invented this kind of vaccine, it's unbelievable. So and that step 3, just remember in your mind that if an idea requires suppression to exist, it's a horrible idea, and it's most likely a psyop. Good ideas don't need to suppress other people. Good ideas travel on their own. Good ideas spread on their own. It doesn't need suppression by itself. So those 3 are some of the big ones. The one thing I would always remind them are the events are real. The story behind them are almost never real. So when you see something happen, the event is happening. The story behind it and the entire thing is usually some kind of theater production. There's something happening there where we are in engineered reality. And if you look at that engineered reality matrix, you can just clearly see that so many of these things are engineered. And I'm not saying there's actors being hired and things like that, but I'm saying the situations are engineered. You see a big catastrophe happen the moment some big embarrassing thing is about to get released. And it's every time. So there's always something going on. And I'm not sitting here as some harbinger of truth who's saying like, oh, I've got everything figured out and I know all these guys pulling the strings. I've never focused too much on that because knowing about it is not going to really free you.
You said that a lot of the main anchors at the big media companies were CIA operatives. Do you think that's happening today?
Yes.
Did you think I was a CIA operative?
No.
What are the signs?
When somebody is asked a difficult question about their government, their agency that they might be working for, they might answer it in a negative way, but then they'll say, yes, but. I think that allegiance mandates some kind of PR maintenance. And it doesn't make me say, oh yeah, 100% that guy is an agent or whatever. But it does make me say, that's interesting. Like that person got asked about something that happened in the 1950s with the CIA. And they say like, yes, they did that back then. However, nowadays, their new focus is this and this and this. They'll throw a little commercial on top of the admission of the negative thing that happened.
What's a sign someone is easy to manipulate?
You want to spot the people that raise their eyebrows in conversations more often. You'll see that like social gesture, and our forehead is a billboard of emotion. If a person is happy their whole life and they're always smiling, you'll see these little crow's feet that start to develop here, even by the age of 18, 19. It's your etching an expression onto the face. But if I told you to make a skeptical facial expression, like somebody's really feeding you something and trying to manipulate you and you're really skeptical about what they're saying, it's going to squeeze these eyelids down here. That's the first thing that'll happen on the face. You're going to see those wrinkles start to form down here. And when a person experiences a life that's lacking lots of skepticism, you'll see the lower eyelids super, super smooth. And it is very provable. If you go look up Charles Manson cult members, smooth lower eyelids. The way that a Gen Z person might get recruited is, let's just use you as an example. Somebody comes up and says, hey man, I love your podcast. And they say, I have a serious question for you though. Would you consider yourself a patriot? Now I've got you locked into identity. And then I say, well, I have an offer for you, but before I show you anything, I just want you to say yes or no. Would you be willing to entertain the offer? And it might be uncomfortable. Stage one is I show you all of your browsing history, captures from your webcams on all of your phones and computers of you doing the most compromising shit you could ever possibly imagine. And I'd say, I like your podcast. I think you're doing a great job and I want to protect you. I want to keep all this from the public eye. We also want to give you $20,000 a month. So now you feel like you chose all of this. I told you it was going to be stressful and you agreed to it. If you say yes, the reason that you're doing this on your podcast is for your country, because you're not going to call yourself compromised. We have this thing called cognitive dissonance that keeps our brain from thinking I'm a bad person. Even though you're being asked to silence people, not have certain people on the show, leave something out of your podcast, you're telling yourself, and whoever's your handler is telling you this is for the greater good. And you kept the Americans safe by doing that. And you'll tell yourself that. And you'll feel good about it. If you're on the left, you're being shown the stupidest dumbasses on the right that could possibly exist. You have no other choice in your mind but to think all of these people are insane. All of them are absolute idiots. And if you're on the right and you scroll through your feed and you're going to see the absolute dipshit morons on the left. And they're going to show you the most crazy psycho people possible over and over and over and over again until you say, this is the left. You walk into a Walmart, you're going to see people that voted in a way that you didn't vote. And they're not breaking shit. They're not screaming. They're not psycho. And they probably want the same things that you do. You have more in common with these people than you think. They want to feed their kids. They want to pay lower taxes. They want to feel safe in their own home. They want to chill. They want to come home at the end of the day and put their feet up and have some time off. They want to have time with their family. You have more in common with all those people that didn't vote the way you voted than some billionaire that's influencing media narratives. Even if that billionaire votes the same way you do, you still have more in common with that person that voted the other way that you see every day in your life that's not crazy. That is absolute engineered reality. I'm not sitting here trying to say, oh, you need to love your neighbor, you need to love people. I'm just saying the hatred that people are feeling for the other side is engineered. It is not real, and it's very difficult for people to admit that I have been manipulated.
If all your books, videos, tweets were erased from the internet forever, and all you had were the next 60 seconds, what's the one truth about humans that you would leave to the world?
You're supposed to enjoy it. It's supposed to be a game. Nothing is a big deal.
Was that good? I thought that was so good. But this is kind of why when I started this show off with the Benny Johnson and Milo information, and the reason I did that is because I kind of posted about it earlier this week, and a lot of the comments that I got were, why are you getting into this? This is just drama. It's unfounded, yada, yada. And it fucking might be, okay? But it's been around a long time. Apparently he's got proof that he's threatening to put out, and Benny's threatening to sue him. We'll see if he actually does. But the problem with it is that if it is true about Benny, then everything else that Benny has stood for up until this point is irrelevant. And I hate to be that guy, but if you can't be honest with everybody about who you are, about your past, about, if you haven't come out and you haven't addressed that, if you try to hide that, and everything that you've had to say from then going forward is thrown into question. And I get it. It's none of our business. And that was a big comment. It's none of your business. I get that. But the fact that he hit it, but promoted this I don't want to say anti-gay, but pretty borderline. You could anticipate it as more of that traditional family, man and woman, have kids, da-da-da-da-da, right? And then if it comes out that you were gay and you were getting it in the butt and your wife was, if any of that is true, everything that you've said up until that point of us finding out is null and void. Let's see. Bangkok says Alex Jones might be controlled opposition, but he still revealed he did. And I think that's when you walk away from this. Yeah, his whole persona, that's the problem. When you walk away from this, from my show, from any show that you watch, any show, any influencer, any podcaster, you have to walk away with the understanding that people on the internet only show you what they want you to see. I will ever only show you this wall. I could show you that one. I'm not hiding anything. It's a fucking mess, though. It's a closet, and all my kids' old jerseys are in it. All their old cleats are in it. And now it's piled high with empty Christmas boxes because I was too lazy to bring them back downstairs after I decorated. It's just a mess in here. I have a path. It's like a hoarder room. People on the internet, they only show you what they want you to see. I don't talk a lot about the intricate things of my family. Can you give me 1 second? Oh, no. Hey, is the movie over? Yeah. Okay, I will send Dad to come get you. All right, love you. Bye. BJ! Can you go pick up Tank? Thank you. Sorry. Okay, where was I? Sorry, that was my kid. He went with the church youth group to go to a movie, and I didn't think it would be over this early, but apparently it is. So he just called. He's the definition. Well, and that's the thing. So people on the internet, they only show you what they want you to see. Occasionally stuff like this happens. I didn't really want you to see that, but that's the way it goes. I'll never, I won't show any of the, I'm never going to fight with my husband on the internet. I'm never going to talk shit about my husband because I'm just not, out of respect for my husband and my marriage, right? But that doesn't mean that everything is always all hunky-dory. That doesn't mean that my kids don't get in trouble at school. That doesn't mean that my kids don't get in trouble at home. I'm not trying to project a perfect life, but you're not going to get to see, because I feel like that's, nobody needs to see our dirty laundry as a family, just basically because of what I do. But If I were out here and I were saying, hey, the nuclear family was where it's at, men and women have babies, get married young, have babies young, with pictures of my kids and pictures of, the pretty much the direct opposite of the LGB movement. Okay. While I'm not practicing that behind closed doors. It gets, and because then it brings everything that you've ever done into question. Anything you've ever said, everything that you've ever done. I don't know if it's true, but it's important. And at the end of the day, does it matter? Does it matter? Not really. Does it affect your life? No, it doesn't. But does it affect how you receive information and how you choose to inform yourself? Yes. Yes, it does. That was divine intervention to help you prove your point. Yeah, the movie, I didn't think the movie would get over closer to 8, but apparently it's over now. And it's like a church. I told him I would even be there. And he's like, oh, I was so unprofessional. I know, that was my bad. But actually it wasn't. It's not that unprofessional. That comes first. This doesn't. Sorry. He did for like 10 minutes. It's very that's what you have to walk away from. You have to decide how and when and who you're going to get your information from. Now, if he were to come out and address it long ago, like when these rumors apparently first started years ago, he were to come out and say, you know what? I was experimenting. I was drinking a lot, because I think he was at the time. But I met the love of my life. I cleaned up. I started going to church. I accepted Christ as my savior, whatever, and just addressed it from the beginning. Then this wouldn't be a big deal now, because people would be like, dude, we already knew. Like, he's already talked about it. But it's everywhere. I think they were being sarcastic. I know. Maybe they were. I always feel kind of bad, though, because because it happens. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. I have a very open door policy. I don't they just pop in when they want something, when they need money, when they want to go somewhere, they just kind of pop in. So, until Q called him out for being a Mossad agent and AJ had a crash. Oh, we're talking about Alex Jones. I didn't really know a lot about the Alex Jones stuff, but I can tell you that I learned about Bohemian Grove from Alex Jones and about the gay frogs. I took what I took and I left the rest. I mean, that's, but then I took what I took from Alex Jones and then I went and looked up a bunch of stuff on my own. And I think that's what everybody needs to do. I think that's the lesson from a lot of this. And as conservative Inc. continues to kind of implode, you're going to see new podcast, maybe even yourself. You're going to see new influencers or podcasters come up. And hopefully they can kind of stay true to what they believe. You're going to see kind of a shift in information. And you're going to see a definite shift in power as to where people put their attention to. And I think that's why like Nick Fuentes took off so quickly. Now they're saying he's a Fed, or he just became a Fed or something. I don't know. I don't follow Nick Fuentes. I catch his clips and that's about it. You just take what resonates and leave the rest. If you learn something, like if you just watch that video and you thought, God, that's super interesting, I would encourage you to go look up the podcast on your own, listen to the whole thing, and then pick out the parts that are really interesting to you, and then go look them up on your own, and then make your own decision. And then you can go out on the internet and you can give your opinion on it all you want. If you want to, that's fine. So, well, and that's kind of the thing is, I don't know how long, because I've followed Benny Johnson. I used to follow Tim for a long time. There was another one, but he blocked me. Now, he's full on pro-Israel, blocked me. I can't remember who it is. But I followed all these people thinking that they were genuine, thinking that they were, and maybe they were at the time. Maybe they started off like that in a bedroom full of shit. But then maybe they got an offer and maybe they didn't negotiate well, or maybe this is really how they feel. I don't know. But like when I came on to Badlands, I had to make that very clear. Like I have to be able to talk about what I want to talk about. And there can't be any restrictions ever. Ever. And if there are, then I have to walk. And I will tell everybody. Like I will. Because I need to be as honest as humanly possible with as much as I can. So it is what it is. And they were fine with it. And they were like, yep, welcome aboard. And then I met Yugal. And here we are doing the show, talking some shit, watching some videos, trying to save Christmas. That's been my big thing this week too. The Christ and Christmas. You know, when my old man, when I was young, Merry Xmas used to be like the 6-9 when I was young. We always wanted to say Merry Xmas. I don't know why. I don't think we fully understood. And I should have. I was in catechism at the time. I should have, but I didn't. And my dad would always be like, it's Christmas. Knock it off. And I'd be like, because I didn't even understand the Christ in Christmas, which shows you how much I paid attention in church, which is probably why they kicked me out to begin with, right? I didn't understand, until much later, until I became like a teenager. And then I was like, oh, that makes sense. Christ and Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. And now, the more that I'm learning about, especially over the last 2 weeks when Israel flew out those 1,000 or 10,000 pastors, and they're looking to hit 1 million by the end of 2026. They want to fly 1 million pastors, Christian pastors from churches here in the United States out to Israel to re-educate them on Israel.
Distinctive things about the right wing in this country is it's...
That's not the right video. I'm so sorry. I clicked on the wrong video. Where is it? Oh, do I not have it?
We are going to train.
Hold on.
We are going to train 100,000 Christian ambassadors to be ambassadors in their own country for the state of Israel, to defend Israel's brand and to combat anti-Semitism. Now, the beautiful part about this is we're partnering with Blackboard. Blackboard is the largest platform in the world, serving Harvard, Yale, all the major universities. The vice president of Blackboard is here. It's a $2.3 billion company. Would you stand, please? Would you give him a hand? Using adaptive learning technology. So we'll train these wonderful Christian evangelicals so that they can fulfill what I am doing for the state of Israel. Secondly, we're creating FOSS-I, an online academy to train tens of millions of evangelicals. The power of the evangelical muscle is enormous. It represents almost 1 billion people. But no one ever harnessed it. And we're doing that here. We're creating the first evangelical think tank, the first evangelical research institute, so the state of Israel will know who they are and how they can contribute to the state of Israel. We're, of course, a social network campus and much more. So that's exciting for us. The second thing I want to announce is in our Friends of Zion Museum, we are going to build the Donald Trump exhibition. No president in American history has done more for the state of Israel than Donald Trump. The Media Center is indeed a gift to Israel. You can use it, Ambassador Friedman. You can use it for any event you want for the foreign ministry, etc., because we are doing this all for Israel. It's all about Israel.
You bet. That was the Friends of Zion. They put on like the whole thing. And they want to invite more. And he's going to be a real surprise later on. Huh. Well, about to get radically Christian around here. Like radically Christian. Listen, I've been a Christian my whole life. I've never said it out loud. I've never claimed myself to be a Christian because I really didn't feel like I deserved it. Mainly because I was told I didn't deserve it. Because every time I brought it up, and it still happens, right? Every time I bring it up, they're like, well, a Christian wouldn't say that, or a Christian wouldn't do that, or a Christian wouldn't swear as fucking much as you do, or a Christian wouldn't smoke, or Christians, they don't go to jail, or Christians don't drink. Christians. And so I never claimed it because I got really sick of those comments, like really sick of them. I was like, whatever. Christians seem awfully judgmental. But here's the thing, okay? Maybe you need somebody like me that drinks and swears and used to smoke. I don't smoke anymore. I'm wearing a patch. And swears a lot and says what they think and what they feel and what they know and speaks their truth and speaks it loudly and speaks it proudly. Okay? Maybe it's time you had some people like us. Okay? Because you pretty much shit the bed in protecting it. Because it's being infiltrated as we speak. As we speak. They geofenced all those churches. Oh, yeah. In my 20s. Driving while barred. I got my license suspended. I didn't have any money to pay the ticket. And I had to go to work. And I lived in a small town. The other small town that I worked in was like 30 minutes away. So I just kept driving. Eventually, they just bar your license. And then eventually, it's a felony. And then eventually, you have to go to jail for a while. A few times. Never had a DUI. Never robbed anything. Didn't kill anybody. Never beat anybody up that I got caught doing. Just driving while barred. I just didn't have enough money. And then I had to pay like $10,000 eventually to get my license back. And it took like years. It was a fucking nightmare. It was a nightmare. Well, here's the thing is so Gen X Girl on X put out a list of the churches that were geofenced for a lot of this Israel Friends of Zion meeting. And a lot of them were non-denominational. So she posted it. Yeah. Geofencing. I don't really know. That's where they track your phone, right? That's some Palantir type shit. Didn't they geofence Charlie Kirk's memorial too? So that they could get an accurate number of how many people were there? Hail, Lindsey Graham. I know it is. It's fine. But yeah, so I went to jail for like 10 days, then 90 days, and then 30 days. And then I got like home, what do they call it? House arrest for a while. It costs way too much money. Just if you lose your license, it's not a big deal now because there's fucking cabs everywhere, and there's Ubers but back then, back in like the early 2000s, it was a little bigger deal because there wasn't any of that. There wasn't grocery delivery, and I had this baby, and yeah, it's the phone. Yeah, if your phone is in the area, they attack you with pro-Israel propaganda. Tons of churches. So if you walk into your church and you all of a sudden hear them start sounding like Ben Shapiro, you might want to leave. You might want to take your Jesus Christ and be like, time to go, homie. We don't need them nailing you again. Let's go. Time to go. You know what I'm saying? Because fundamentally, that's what it is. I had a big epiphany this week because I'm like, everybody talks like it's so confusing. And if you don't understand it, or if you try to understand it, then they just accuse you of hating the Jews. So I tried to find out what is the difference? What is Christian Zionism? Like, what is it? And it's just basically Friends of Zionism. But I don't see how that can even work, because then I had to look up the drastic differences between Christianity and Zionism, or Christianity and like the Jewish beliefs. And the core belief is that Christians believe in Jesus Christ and Zionists don't. And most Jewish people don't. That's why Christians celebrate Christmas and the Jewish celebrate Hanukkah. And it really is that black and white. It's not convoluted. It's not about allyship. It's not about any of that. It's just, and what the Zionists want is they want the Christians to come and speak highly of them, even though the Christians believe in something that the Zionists hate. And then I read this other thing where the Zionists believe that Jesus Christ is in hell in something about poop. And my mouth hit the floor. I didn't know that. Like, what do you mean? Okay. Well, Help me understand how Christian Zionism and Friends of Zionists, who you want Christians to be your friends, Christianity, which is the religion that our country was founded on with the religious beliefs. But you think that the one thing that makes me a Christian is the belief in Jesus Christ. You think that the one thing that makes me a Christian, the most important thing that makes me a Christian is burning in hell in 1,000 poopsicles or something? How does that work? Why would I be your friend? That is my belief. Like that is that's my core. If you really want to get into it, I was raised Catholic. My core. I don't really get into the churches. My church and I had a difficult relationship, but I never not believed in Jesus Christ and I never not believed in God. I just didn't believe in the church. I was like, what? That's fine. I don't need to come here. I got my Bible. I can do it from my bedroom. It's fine. They literally killed him. And then they argued but I'm like, but they literally did. Like if we went back in time, like if Jesus were walking the earth today, it would be Ben Shapiro nailing him to the cross or ordering the nailing of him to the cross because they didn't kill him. They just had him killed. And the people that killed him were following orders, right? It's fine. I was Catholic, but no more. Yeah, see, the church idea, but the Catholicism, like the faith that I got from it, and like my core memory was singing "Oh Holy Night" at midnight mass when I was like 10. When I was 10, I was selected out of our church choir to do the solo of "Oh Holy Night," just me. And then they had like this balcony that you stood over, and then you look down and you could see all the pews and you could see the Father, and he was standing up there, and it was all decorated. We'd have like 7 trees and they'd all be decorated. And I got to stand up on this balcony at like 10 years old and sing "Oh Holy Night" for all these people. Because midnight mass is a huge deal back then. The whole town was there. And it happened at midnight. Now I think it happens at like 7. But it happened at midnight. And I remember my dad being so proud because he was big into the Roman Catholic Church at the time. He was so proud of me. And when I got done, it was like 1:00 in the morning on Christmas Eve. And we drove to Beersford, South Dakota. And we went to Trucktown, which is still open, by the way. Not as good as it used to be, but it's still open, by the way. We went to Trucktown and I got a bacon cheeseburger and fries on Christmas Eve. That's, to me, that's like that feeling, that core memory. Like that's Jesus Christ. Like that's. But apparently that's not the case. So I don't understand how you could have the fucking audacity to demand a bunch of Christians to do your bidding when you don't even believe in the very thing that Christianity is. Not only do you not believe it, but you claim that he's burning in hell. Absolutely not, sir. It was a bacon cheeseburger from Trucktown in Beersford, South Dakota. If you're ever going to Sioux Falls, stop in Beersford, go to Trucktown. It's not as good as it used to be, but back then they made a hella bacon cheeseburger. I was 10. Someone said, prove it. I think I still got a picture. I just fucking might. I got to wear a pretty black dress with sparkles on it. Anyway, absolutely not. Which brings me to my last point. Actually, I had a couple more videos, but we're running out of time. I want to talk about this, though. I want to talk about this particularly. Let me find it.
If it wasn't for us Jews, there wouldn't be Christmas the way you know it. Look at that. Look at that. Because, Irving Berlin wrote White Christmas and redefined Christmas music. Until then, it was all like Jesus music. And all the iconic Christmas songs were all written by Jews. And if you look into it, this is really interesting. It's all interesting because these are immigrants, children of Jewish immigrants. And if you want to take it a step further, you could say that all they did was tap into their desire for the Altenheim.
Shalom, it's David Benkoff, the Broadway Maven. The role Jews have played in promoting Christmas is one of the mysteries of American Jewish history. Maybe they see Christmas as just another American holiday, so their songs and albums are a form of acculturation or even patriotism. But a fascinating possibility, my favorite, is in this extraordinary book, Operation Shylock. And here's how he explains Irving Berlin's choice to compose White Christmas. The radio was playing Easter Parade, and I thought, but this is a Jewish genius on a par with the 10 Commandments. God gave Moses the 10 Commandments, and then he gave to Irving Berlin Easter Parade and White Christmas. The two holidays that celebrate the divinity of Christ, the divinity that's at the heart of the Jewish rejection of Christianity. And what does Irving Berlin brilliantly do? He dechrists them both.
He sounds so proud. And I never thought about it. Really. Because I still listen to old Christmas songs. In fact, one of my more favorite albums, and I know we are all mad at Dolly Parton because she's like, get your jab. But when I was growing up, one of my more favorite albums was Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers' Christmas. And the majority of the songs in there, I think she's got like a Sleigh Bells Ring song, but the majority of the songs in there are the older hymns. Oh Holy Night, the Little Town. Like they wrote a song about Bethlehem. But if you listen to music now, Christmas music now, it's all about love. It's all about losing love or finding love or snowmen or Santa Claus or reindeer. There's no mention of Christ. And that hit me because, like I said, one of the core memories that I have is singing at midnight mass. And I've sang in the choir for Christmas a lot over the years until they asked me to leave. I was like a teenager. I was right before I was ready to get confirmed. But when I was younger, like that was Christmas Eve for me. I would get dressed up. I would go to church. I would sing in the choir. We would wear our white robes. A lot of times we would dress up as angels. But that was a core memory. And so to watch him come out and her come out to just dismiss the idea of Christ being in Christmas songs was infuriating. Like I'm about to get radically Christian then with F-bombs and assholes. It's like you want me to hate the Jewish religion. Is that what you want me to hate the Jews? Is that what you want? Because I don't, but I can. The beautiful thing about our country is you have the capabilities to practice any religion that you want to. But what I will not allow is for your religion to dismiss mine or to mock mine. Not my religion, my beliefs. None of the songs that my kids sang at his Christmas concert were the old Christ songs. They were all Beatles songs. You can't have Christmas without Christ. And it's about to get super radical. I think a lot of people are feeling this way. I think a lot of people are fed up with that kind of arrogance, the audacity. You want to enjoy all of the great things that Christian beliefs, that this country was built on with Christian beliefs, while removing Christianity from the equation. You want all of the blessings that Jesus brings while simultaneously rejecting Jesus. And that's fucking wild. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of our show. I have to give a shout out to Make Sense to Me Too. You're not alone. I get weird vibes from Erica Kirk. Also, $5. Thank you so much. Susan, $10. I really appreciate your honesty and straightforwardness. Thank you. I'm supposed to read the Badlands rants too. I don't know. There it is. I don't know if these update real time. I guess I should ask somebody, I suppose. Let me look. Let me see. Just let me see. Just give me a damn minute. Just a minute. I don't think so. Not from the Shipwreck show. I do see one who somebody was to support your cause and the company. That was $300. Good on you. That's incredible. And the last one I see was the 10th. So, in November. It's fine. So, Radically Christian, write that down. This year, we're only going to be listening to Christ Christmas music. We're going to not listen to Mariah Carey. We're not going to, we're not going to listen to any of that. I'm just not. I'm not. I don't like the audaciousness. I don't like the arrogance. And I think that it's gone too far. And so, if Christians want to judge me because I'm a Christian and I swear a lot, well, that's okay. But you probably need somebody like us right now, because we kind of shit the bed, because now all of a sudden, all of our Christmas music is being replaced by White Christmas, Frosty the Snowman, Where's My Love? I can't make Christmas great again. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I appreciate it. It was good to see you. And you need to get on to your next show. Make sure you check the next show out. It's Altered State. I know they do pretty well. So go check them out. They got a lot of great things to talk about. And keep her moving. Take it easy. Tell your mom I says hi. And watch out for deer. Bye, guys.
Tonight we're making one. Today practice only.
If you need a break from the politics, please consider subscribing to our Substack or subscribing to our ex-subscribers. Just good food, good friends, and good times. We'll see you later. Thanks, friends.